Okay, so you've definitely heard the name Nikola Tesla, right? I mean, it's on cars, it's all over pop culture, but the man himself, who was he really? Well, he's one of history's most brilliant and honestly most tragic figures, an inventor whose mind literally powered the world we live in today. So let's peel back the layers, go beyond the brand name, and really get to know the man who electrified our modern age. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Could you? Could you invent something really complex, say an electric motor, with no sketches, no experiments, nothing? Just picturing it, running it, and perfecting the entire thing, all inside your head? Sounds pretty impossible, right? Well, for Nikola Tesla, that wasn't just possible. It was just how he worked. And yeah, those are his own words. This wasn't some boastful claim. This was his actual method. He would build them, test them, even operate his inventions completely in his mind before a single screw was turned in the real world. And get this, he said that in 30 years of working this way, not a single one of those visualized inventions failed. Incredible. So you gotta ask, where does a mind like that even come from? Let's dig into the spark that ignited this incredible genius. Well, Tesla himself gave all the credit to his mother, Duka Mandic. Now, she never went to school, but she was a brilliant inventor in her own right, always creating these clever household tools and appliances. And on top of that, she could memorize these huge Serbian epic poems. He was convinced that his photographic memory and his creative spark, they all came directly from her. Okay, so you've got this one-of-a-kind mind, right? And it's about to slam right into the established power of the era. And that sets the stage for the biggest fight of his life, the War of Currents. So, Tesla gets to America in 1884, and his first stop? Working for the man himself, Thomas Edison. Yeah, that did not go well. It was a total disaster. There was a dispute over a $50,000 bonus, a huge amount of money back then, that Edison apparently brushed off as just some American humor. So, Tesla quit. And just 2 years later, this genius, who could build power grids in his imagination, he's digging ditches for $2 a day. Just imagine that. And this really lays it all out. The clash of two totally different kinds of genius. You had Edison, the ultimate pragmatist. He was all about trial and error, thousands of experiments, and he was dead set on his direct current, or DC, being the future. And then you have Tesla, the pure visionary. The solution would just come to him in a flash of insight, and he knew, absolutely knew, that his alternating current, or AC, was way, way better for sending power over long distances. These two, they were on a collision course from day one. I mean, just try to picture the culture shock here. On one side, you've got Tesla, this tall, well-dressed, refined European intellectual. And he walks right into the grit and the grime of Edison's machine works in New York City. Just total chaos. He actually called it a painful surprise. And really, that was the perfect setup for the huge conflict that was about to unfold. But, sometimes failure is just the beginning. And out of the ashes of that whole mess with Edison, Tesla's vision was about to get a second chance and lead to the triumph of AC. And the key was, somebody else saw what Edison couldn't. An inventor and a really smart businessman named George Westinghouse, he got it. He understood the potential of AC, so he bought Tesla's patents, hired him on the spot, and boom, you've got the partnership that was finally going to take on Edison's DC empire. And this right here, this is the heart of it all. This is Tesla's AC induction motor. It was just so elegant, so simple, and totally revolutionary. See, he used a rotating magnetic field, which meant he could create a motor that started itself and didn't need a commutator. That was the part on DC motors that always sparked and broke down. This little invention, this was basically the engine that was going to drive the entire 20th century. But the war wasn't won yet. Not by a long shot. A big financial panic hit, and it almost bankrupted Westinghouse. His financial backers, they got nervous, and they told him, you have to get rid of that crazy expensive royalty contract you have with Tesla. So Westinghouse goes to explain the situation to Tesla. And what does Tesla do? In this just unbelievable gesture, he rips up the contract. He just tore it up. He gave up millions, what would be maybe billions today, to save the company and the man who believed in his dream. Just wow. Okay, so with the company saved, AC's victory came fast and hard. First, in 1893, they used Tesla's system to light up the entire Chicago World's Fair. It was this incredible spectacle, and it proved to everyone that AC was safe and reliable. And then came the big one, the ultimate prize. In 1895, his system was chosen to harness the power of Niagara Falls. The war of currents, it was over. AC had officially won. But see, for a mind like Tesla's, powering the world with wires, that was just the beginning. He was already thinking way, way beyond that, to something far more radical. Just look at this picture. It's absolutely insane. This is not a special effect. This is real. That's Tesla, sitting there, totally calm, while millions of volts of electricity are crackling all around him. What he was doing was experimenting with a global system to send not just messages, but power wirelessly. The idea was free energy for everyone on the planet, with no wires at all. And you have to remember, he wasn't just a lab coat kind of scientist. He was a master showman. He'd hold these big public demos, stand up on a stage, and light up light bulbs in his hands with no wires attached. It looked like magic. He was literally showing people a glimpse of a future that felt like something out of a fantasy story. And this was supposed to be his magnum opus, the Wardenclyffe Tower. This was the first big piece of his global wireless system. But in the end, the vision was just too big. It was too far ahead of its time. The money ran out, and the tower was never completed. It just stood there for years, this giant monument to a dream that was just out of reach. Yeah, the failure of Wardenclyffe, that was a real turning point. And it brings us to the final and pretty tragic chapter of his life. The man who literally lit up the world would end up spending his last years in the shadows. I mean, the contradictions of his life are just staggering when you think about it. This is a man with over 700 patents. He tamed Niagara Falls. And yet he died completely broke, in debt, living out of a series of New York hotels. He was offered a Nobel Prize, to share with Edison, mind you, and he turned it down. And near the end, this titan of invention spent most of his time in a park, preferring the company of pigeons to people. And as he became more and more isolated, his claims got, well, more and more fantastic. He started talking about receiving signals from other planets. He claimed to have designed a particle beam weapon, what the newspapers called a death ray. But with no money and no lab, these were just ideas. They remained unproven, and it all just added to his reputation as this brilliant but very eccentric recluse. So, okay, his end was tragic for sure, but here's the simple truth. His victory is all around us, right now. The screen you're looking at, the lights in your room, the entire power grid that makes our modern world possible, it's all built on the system of alternating current, the very system that Nikola Tesla fought for and sacrificed so much for. So that leaves us with one last big question. Was Nikola Tesla a forgotten genius betrayed by a world that just wasn't ready for his ideas? Or was he a visionary whose dreams just got so grand, so enormous, that in the end they consumed him? You know, maybe the truth is he was both.